Welcome to Global Economic Press, where we deliver trusted global finance and economic news, analysis, and reports, empowering leaders and investors with reliable, timely insights. I'm your host, Brady. In today's episode, we delve into the exciting expansion of SwissDrones Operating AG and its subsidiary Xplorate Pacific Pty Ltd into the United States. These companies are revolutionizing the inspection and monitoring of critical infrastructure with their long-range uncrewed helicopter systems. Stay tuned as we explore how this innovative technology is set to transform industries and enhance operational capabilities across the globe. Published August 7, 26. Categories: press releases, global expansion, beyond visual line of sight operations, SwissDrones Operating AG, a developer and manufacturer of long-range uncrewed helicopter systems, and its subsidiary Xplorate Pacific Pty Ltd, a beyond visual line of sight aviation and aerial intelligence operator, today announced the expansion of their integrated aircraft to intelligence platform into the United States. The companies combine uncrewed aircraft, regulatory and operational experience, industrial sensor integration, and data workflows to support inspection and monitoring of pipelines, power lines, transportation corridors, and other geographically distributed critical infrastructure. An integrated approach to long-range inspection, industrial infrastructure operators have sought to supplement crewed aerial patrols with uncrewed systems. Conventional small drones, however, can be constrained by range, endurance, payload, communications, and the need to reposition crews and equipment frequently along long linear assets. The SwissDrones Xplorate platform brings together long-range turbine-powered uncrewed helicopter systems, payload capacity for industrial light detection and ranging, red, green, blue, multispectral, and other mission sensors, beyond visual line of sight operating approvals, safety cases, and operating experience in multiple jurisdictions, trained in flight operations and maintenance personnel, satellite-enabled command and control capabilities where authorized and appropriate for the mission, multi-sensor data processing and infrastructure analytics. This combination is intended to help operators collect georeferenced sensor data over long linear infrastructure while supporting engineering, integrity, environmental, and compliance workflows. Industrial customers need more than an aircraft, said Larry Birkin, Group Chief Executive Officer. They need a complete operating capability that combines aircraft performance, regulatory approvals, trained personnel, sensor integration, and data delivery. The SD-050 provides a platform for those missions today, and the SD-120 is being developed to extend the mission set further. Commercial beyond visual line of sight operations in Queensland. Xplorate Pacific uses the SwissDrones SD-050 to conduct recurring commercial beyond visual line of sight inspection operations along a 550-kilometer pipeline corridor in Queensland, Australia. The program is performed through multiple missions under applicable Australian regulatory authorizations and uses mission-specific sensor configurations to collect georeferenced infrastructure data. The program demonstrates the practical use of a long-endurance uncrewed helicopter for commercial inspection of geographically distributed infrastructure. The scope, flight profiles, sensor payloads, and operating procedures are determined by customer requirements, environmental conditions, and the terms of the applicable regulatory authorizations. A commercially available aircraft for industrial missions. The SD-050 is a commercially available, long-endurance uncrewed helicopter designed to carry mission-specific payloads in demanding operating environments. Its vertical takeoff and landing configuration and payload capacity allow it to support missions that may be difficult to perform with conventional small multi-rotor or fixed-wing drones. Depending on mission configuration and applicable approvals, potential applications include pipeline and power line inspection, light detection and ranging corridor mapping, multispectral environmental monitoring, methane and emissions detection, emergency response and disaster assessment, maritime and coastal surveillance, cargo and logistics missions, public safety and government operations, aircraft range, endurance, payload, and other performance characteristics vary by configuration, payload, fuel reserve, environmental conditions, mission profile, and regulatory requirements. Broad area beyond visual line of sight. Authorization Xplorate holds an authorization covering approximately 58,000 square kilometers of the Surat Basin in Queensland. Subject to its terms and conditions, the authorization supports day and night beyond visual line of sight operations across defined infrastructure and operating areas, including pipelines, well sites, processing facilities, power lines, and other remote infrastructure. The authorization provides a regulatory foundation for recurring missions across a broad operating area. Each operation remains subject to the applicable authorization, operating procedures, risk controls, airspace requirements, and customer-specific conditions. Satellite-enabled operations. The platform can incorporate satellite-enabled command and control capabilities for long linear and remote missions where authorized and appropriate. The communications architecture, operating procedures, and role of the satellite link are determined for each mission and remain subject to applicable regulatory approvals and safety requirements. The next generation, SD-120 SwissDrones, is developing the SD-120, a next-generation uncrewed helicopter intended for demanding industrial, public safety, and government missions. The aircraft is being designed to provide increased payload, endurance, redundancy, and system assurance, together with multi-sensor payload integration and satellite-enabled operating capabilities. The SD-120 is being engineered to support operations targeting specific assurance and integrity law level 5 under the European Specific Operations Risk Assessment Framework. Specific assurance and integrity. Level 4 is an operational risk classification. It is not, by itself, an aircraft certification. Development objectives remain subject to engineering validation, regulatory review, financing, and commercialization milestones. The SD-120 builds on the operating experience and engineering foundation developed through the SD-050, said Lucas Obrist, Chief Technology Officer of SwissDrones. Our objective is to increase mission capability and system assurance while developing an aircraft and operating system that can support demanding regulatory and customer requirements. Entering the United States, the U.S. expansion is intended to establish commercial, regulatory, operational, and customer support capabilities closer to North American energy and utility operators. The United States has extensive pipeline, transmission, generation, transportation, and other geographically distributed infrastructure that may benefit from scalable uncrewed inspection. SwissDrones and Xplorate plan to apply their international operating experience, existing aircraft capabilities, and accumulated beyond visual line of sight safety case expertise to U.S. programs conducted under applicable Federal Aviation Administration approvals. The expansion comes as the Federal Aviation Administration continues its rulemaking process for more routine, beyond visual line of sight operations, including the proposed Part 108 framework. Our objective is to give infrastructure operators a practical way to evaluate and deploy long-range uncrewed inspection under the regulatory pathways available in the United States. Birkin said, "We will approach the market program by program with safety, regulatory compliance, and customer requirements determining each operating model." More than an aircraft, the SwissDrones Xplorate offering integrates 5 mutually reinforcing capabilities. Long-range multi-payload uncrewed aircraft. Regulatory approvals and operational safety cases. Experience beyond visual line of sight flight operations. Multi-sensor inspection and data management workflows. Analytics that transform mission data into information for infrastructure decisions. Together, these capabilities are intended to provide customers with an integrated pathway from mission planning and regulatory approval through flight operations, sensor data collection, processing, and delivery. Investor support. SwissDrones and Xplorate are supported by an investor group that includes Chevron Technology Ventures, Diamond Stream Partners, Longbow Capital, and Ingleside Investors. Chevron Technology Ventures was launched in 1999 to identify and integrate externally developed technologies and new business solutions from the startup ecosystem with the potential to enhance the way Chevron produces and delivers energy. References to Chevron Technology Ventures and the other investors in this release are for identification only and do not imply endorsement by any investor or its affiliates of the technical, operational, commercial, or forward-looking statements contained in this release. About Xplorate Pacific Pty Ltd. Xplorate is a beyond visual line-of-sight aviation and aerial intelligence operator serving energy, utility, and public sector infrastructure. The company operates SwissDrones aircraft under Australian beyond visual line-of-sight authorizations and combines aviation operations, regulatory approvals, multi-sensor data collection, and infrastructure analytics to support long-range uncrewed missions. Website: www.xplorate.io. Forward-looking statements. This release contains forward-looking statements regarding market expansion, product development, aircraft performance, regulatory pathways, commercialization, financing, and future operations. These statements are based on current expectations and are subject to execution, regulatory, technical, market, financing, and other risks. Aircraft range, endurance, payload, and other performance characteristics may vary depending on configuration, environmental conditions, reserve requirements, mission profile, and regulatory approvals. Development objectives and anticipated capabilities have not necessarily been demonstrated in final production configuration. Actual results may differ materially. Nothing in this release constitutes an offer to sell or a solicitation of an offer to purchase any securities.